There we go. Streaming is tricky here. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Welcome back to the stream. My name is Jeff Fritz. We're live at DevIntersection. It is March 27th, 2018, and I'm here with my friend, Shayne Boyer.
Hello.
Hey, so we've actually got an audience here in front of us, and we're going to write a little bit of code together today. The goal here, as part of this, we want to share some information with our folks here at DevIntersection in Orlando, Florida, at the Walt Disney World Swan. We're going to write a new ASP.NET Core app, and we've built some ASP.NET Core apps in the past. We've kind of extended and worked on some of the widgets that you see me use here on stream that are burned into the video around us. But today we want to start with something a little bit simpler. Try and start that intro topic so that folks can find an easy on-ramp to ASP.NET Core. And there's our friend Steve. Thank you so much, Schooler256, for joining the stream. But we want to start building a wiki. We've got a couple different samples out there that folks have built around blogs. There's, of course, the Orchard content management system out there, but there isn't, a getting started wiki application. Just something simple, write a couple things to the database, show me some markdown, and how do we put those pieces together?
Yeah, you need a lot of little components like maybe a markdown editor, being able to post content, edit the content, and normal stuff that we're used to, maybe we take for granted a little bit.
Yeah, okay. So let's go over to the code. And we're going to start broadcasting my screen over here. And like I said, this is a little bit different setup for us today because we're in front of a conference room. We've got thousands of people in the room here with us. Okay, maybe not that many. Retcon, thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. That's you over there. There we go. That's one of the folks here in the room. Thank you. And Sagittarius Angel? Is that someone else here in the room? Cool, thank you for the follow. Of course, we'll see Steve pop up, welcoming our new friends to the chat room as we go along here today. Of course, we're going to keep an eye on the chat room. We're going to listen to folks here in our live audience. And you'll see up at the top, of course, hiding in that top right corner, we've got about 25 folks joining us live online. And altogether, we have almost 1,420 friends that are following along either live or after the fact. There we go. There's some friends in the chat room. So you can find me on Twitter. I am C#Fritz. You can go to my blog at jeffreyfritz.com, and I put Shayne's information up there also.
Awesome. Yeah, SP Boyer on Twitter and tattoocoder.com for my blog. Twitter's probably the best place to reach most of us, both of us all the time, right?
Easy to find us there. We got a lot of folks joining us today. This is great. Thank you. So let's start off talking about a new ASP.NET Core application. I'm using Visual Studio 2017. I've got the preview, so this is 15.7 preview 2. Yeah. And there's a 15.7 preview 3 coming too. So I'm going to do a file new project here so we can get started quick and easy. So file new project. And in Visual Studio, of course, .NET Core is available in my list of project types. And I'm going to choose an ASP.NET Core web application. I always write my projects into a little dev folder right off the root. It simplifies finding it.
I have a play folder.
There you go. All right. Play?
Play.
That doesn't have like music or videos in it?
Nobody has local files anymore for music.
Oh, man. That's where I keep all my music. When it's just me coding on stream, I have all my music from Carl Franklin's Music to Code By in a folder, and I just point to it and say, play these.
Okay.
So, yeah. All right, so I'm going to start a new web application. What do we call this? This is a new wiki. I don't want to make it Fritz Wiki.
Core Wiki.
Core Wiki?
It's a core app.
We'll call it Core Wiki like that?
Core Wiki works.
Okay. So we'll start that. And I've got an opportunity here to choose .NET Core, ASP.NET Core 2.0, and I'm going to build this as a web application. I don't want the full model view controller things. I think Razor Pages would be better for us to use to build this.
Yeah, I agree. I think that would be a good choice.
So in ASP.NET Core, there's two different ways to build user interfaces. You can use model view controller, just like we've seen in previous versions of ASP.NET, or you can also use what we call Razor Pages, which are standalone templates that will behave a little bit more like that page-driven way that you develop.
Now, I noticed in your dropdown you had 2.1 as an option. Now, that's currently in preview.
Yes, you're right.
But when you create the 2.0, does it also create the global JSON file for us to make sure we're still in that 2.0 context?
No, it doesn't, and that's a very good point here. There is, let me create that real quick, just so that we're kind of in that model. So there is by default this thing called global JSON, right? And when you build with .NET Core, you end up with a command line tool that everybody can use, whether they're on Windows, Mac, or Linux, right? And it's .NET. So if I say .NET new, one of the templates that I can use is this global JSON file right here. And as Shayne was pointing out, right, that lets me pin to a version of the frameworks and my tools.
Right.
So let me create a new one of those. So .NET new global JSON. And from this folder...
Let me tell you a trick.
What did I do? From this folder down, whatever version is in that global JSON file will be applied to my project. Now, what did I do wrong?
Okay, so delete the file.
Delete the file? All right. Cool.
Now do it again, global JSON.
Yeah, not delete it.
Yeah.
New. Okay.
New, the space, dash, SDK dash version.
Go ahead.
And then put in the version number you want to use.
2.0.
2.0.2.
Like that?
Yeah.
All right. So if I take a look at that file now. Okay, so this is telling the .NET command line tool and my SDK that when I build to use the 2.02 version
right.
going forward. So I can have multiple versions of the .NET Core SDK installed on my machine, and it'll pick out the right one to use based on this file.
Right. So I don't know what it puts in by default, right? But you chose a 2.0 drop down from your file
from Visual Studio,
Visual Studio. But when you do a .NET new and say global JSON, by default, I'm guessing because you have the 2.1 SDK installed, it probably would have put in 2.1. And you would have to go in and edit the file to use it, right?
Right, it'll grab the latest one that's available
right.
to me. Then that makes me actually wonder, is my project configured to use 2.1? So if I look at my project, and in Visual Studio, we can right click and edit that file. So it did generate my 2.0 versions.
Because you chose a dropdown.
Yes.
Right,
yes.
You chose a dropdown. So basically it puts Visual Studio's file new project generator into that context prior to doing it, right?
Absolutely. There's a question here in the chat room from Vortex Suit. Do you guys think conventional controllers are going to be relegated more and more to API controllers given the rising popularity of Razor pages? So the question there from Vortex Suit really is around these two different UI models, right? We can do MVC, we can do Razor pages, and those controllers in MVC can be both API controllers that are meant for interacting with machines.
Yeah.
And they can also return views. What do you think, Shayne?
I don't know. I think that they're still two separate things. I mean, API controllers are pretty much we did a good job of combining the two, number one.
Absolutely.
Right? So we said that it was a little confusing because Web API was a thing and then MVC was a thing. Right.
We had to manage two different models.
Right. We had to think differently when we did them. Right. And then as we moved forward, we said that doesn't make sense. It's confusing. Let's put them together just controllers. So now we just have controllers for the MVC model, regardless whether it's API or MVC itself. Razor Pages is still kind of its own thing. Right.
It is.
It's just, I like to compare it to almost classic ASP, where we had the code behind pages.
Wait, are you referring to ASP.NET?
ASPX.
ASPX. Oh, you're going, yeah, the ASPX files.
Sorry, did I just show my age? That's way back.
No,
Okay.
not at all.
So,
go ahead.
So ASPX kind of had a code behind page.
Sure,
right?
yes.
And that's kind of what Razor Pages is to me, where I have the option of doing that, or I can embed my, VB script, talking way back.
Way back,
right? I can embed my code, with those tags inside of the Razor Pages, or I can put it in an actual code page. I still think there's a hard line between those two. I don't think we're going to have a Razor Pages controller.
No, not at all,
type of
right?
thing ever. So
No.
I think they're two different things.
Two different things, and it's up to you. It's a choice. If you prefer to build page first,
Right.
I think that works great for folks.
I think if we, and Brendan here just saying that it's like a decoupled code behind. That's exactly what it is. I don't think we'd ever use the word controller when it comes to Razor Pages. I think it would just make it more confusing. If anything, we did a good job of naming it correctly.
Okay.
Or traditionally, we've been bad at naming, so.
There was no marketing involved with that.
Good. All right.
They're recommending that we do the 2.1.101 SDK in that global JSON file. It's probably a good idea. So I am going to just notepad that global JSON, and you're right. Let's change this to 2.1.101. And now if I say .NET version here at the command line, it tells me it's on 2.1.101. All right, terrific. Is it me or is Shayne's mic low? No, we're both using the same mic here. I'm a little bit closer. Shayne's a little bit further away.
I'm still not awake.
There you go.
That might be the problem.
Might be the problem. All right, so we're going to do a little bit of Visual Studio Live Share so that I'm broadcasting my screen and Shayne's able to jump in and see that a little bit. So I've already got Skype open here. I'm going to click the share button up here in the corner. And it wants me to re-enter my credentials. Of course it does. Of course it does.
Everybody look away.
Everybody look away. Nobody look at this. You're going to find out that my user ID is a mess. And actually, I had to change my password while I was here at the conference. And when you change your corporation password over VPN, weird things happen. Right? Now, for security reasons, we need you to two-factor authenticate, blah, 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 blah.
So it's really not 2FA, it's like 7FA because he had to type in his password and he had to click a link and then the link sends a thing to our phone and then we have to do that and then we have to put our thumb on it. It's like 7-factor.
It is. It's crazy.
But it works.
It works. And here we go. So I've clicked the sharing. Firewall prompt. Yes, I know that.
8FA.
There we go. I'm on a public network, so allow that access. There we go. I'm going to close that. And I am going to share this over to Shayne. Right. Where are you?
I'm online.
You got to be here somewhere. No, it's over here. I need to search. Huh? Why aren't I seeing you? Oh, wait. I actually have 2 Skype accounts that I use when I'm testing. I need to be on the right Skype account.
All right, Darkstone Digital's following us.
Thank you so much. Now you get to see me log into Skype too.
Now you know all of Jeff's emails.
All of them. And it's not loading. So handy.
Isn't it funny that we're sitting next to each other, but we still have to use
we still have to use Skype to pass
Skype
a
to send
hyperlink to each other?
Hyperlink.
Doesn't that feel bad?
Can you bit.ly that and send it to me?
Standby Reloading says my password is Go Seahawks. No, it's not. Oh,
that was funny.
That's terrible.
No, that's hilarious.
No, Skype doesn't want to load here. Oh my gosh. Are you kidding? I just want to get on the thing. It was working a second ago. Yes, retry.
Oh, we could not connect to Skype.
Of course it couldn't. Conference Wi-Fi. I'm not using that for broadcasting here. Good thing. All right, there we go. Wait, wrong password. Because I had to change that one a month ago also. My apologies for a little bit of this.
I have a practice that when one thing tells me your password has to change, I change my passwords for everything.
There you are. And I'll give you that link.
Whew.
All right, now we're doing the thing.
The anticipation was killing me.
I know. Awful. Go Cowboys, that is not my password either. We don't like the Cowboys. That's our friend Eldorian. That's J.R. Cook. Great to see you, JR. Like C#Fritz at facebook.com. Nope, that's not me. Nope. Did my sharing stop?
No, I'm coming. Oh, wait.
You got to do the...
I clicked the thing and the stuff.
The thing and the stuff.
Let me click that again. Hang on.
So, to be clear, Shayne's on a Mac, and he's using Visual Studio Code to connect to my machine, Windows, running full Visual Studio 2017.
All right, we're logging in. Signing in.
And we should see Shayne's credentials pop up right here, his initials, when he's connected here. Wow, thank you to all the our new friends joining us here on Twitch and Mixer. Shayne has a lot of stickers on that Mac. Yes, he does.
Yes, I'm running out of space. Sorry. So what I have to do is live share, join collaboration session.
All right, while he's finishing getting that connected, I'm going to take you on a quick tour to get us started. The new template that we have here, it actually has these razor pages, these razor templates that are meant to behave like pages here inside this pages folder. Kind of makes sense. And we have 3 of them really to start with: index, contact, and about. And when you look at these pages, they've got this mishmash of C# and HTML put together here. Is that it? Is it connecting? There you go. Now we can see Shayne there. Here he is. And there you can see where his cursor is inside of our code. So we have these C# statements that start with the @ sign, and then we do things like pass along the title of this page into a property bag called view data. And we can pass that around between our page and the layout that we have for the application here in this layout page. So that kind of makes sense. We also have these tag helper things that really aren't HTML tags, but they're like server-side directives, right? We're used to seeing directives and things like Angular. Well, this is a server-side bit where it'll modify the contents of the page and it'll reformat things, everything from this less than to this greater than. It can change and modify the contents of my page. So that's easy. That's easy to understand. This one, environment, detects the name of the environment, the type of environment we're running in. And if we're in the development environment, it'll output these links. And this one, if we're not in the development environment, it'll output these links.
That is my favorite tag that we have.
Okay.
Honestly, as far as environment is concerned, it makes... if you go back a little bit, we had the web config transforms, right, in the previous version.
Yeah, yeah.
And trying to figure out, like, how do I exclude something or include something? You take any framework, if it's Angular or React or even ASP.NET, and saying, I'm doing something for my development environment, and now I have to figure out how to do it for QA or production or staging, and trying to just do that configuration and include or exclude something. And there's JavaScript frameworks for it and all that. This simple tag right here, that was gold when I saw that we added that. So it's very helpful, especially when it comes to things like CSS and stuff like that.
Yeah, we want to do the cache buster tokens. So there's even this little piece here that says ASP append version true, and it'll generate that cache buster token based on my version here and make sure that folks get a new version of my CSS.
Yeah.
Or JavaScript, for that matter, when there's a new version available. Okay. Let's start talking about, we want to build a wiki here. Now, a wiki really is, right, it's like the Uber content management system, right? I've got a data storage piece that stores like articles. And my article has maybe a title and some content. And then I want to present that on a page somewhere, and really, it's always the same page, right? It's one page, and I'm just jamming into the middle of it, whatever the content is for that article. So I think I think we want to start off with an article model to define what an article in a wiki is, right? Everybody's seen a wiki before, right? I'm asking the room here. Yeah, I see folks nodding here. You've seen Wikipedia, right? It's always the same page and it's just a different article of stuff in the middle. So let's start out with a model called article, I think.
Okay, that works for me.
All right. So I'm going to right click and add a new, where is it? Add a new folder. And I'll call this models. And to start, I think we have one class, and we will call this article. Now, an article needs an ID. Well, does it need an ID? Because in a wiki, the ID is like the name, right? That wiki text.
Yeah, it could be the name or actually, or the title. Right, so it could be like if we're writing about, I don't know, it's like, I think they're called slugs. So if we relate it to like a blog, it'd be like the slug or the actual name of it. So if we were writing about cars, it would be like SWAC cars. So if you look at like a Wikipedia, it's always / the subject.
Right.
So it wouldn't be necessarily like an ID. So we get out of that database mentality.
Yeah. Okay. So if I start a property here now. Topic. Now, it's definitely a string, but is it a name? Is it a slug feels slow? Yes. We don't have any slugs in our project. Topic sounds like a good one.
It can be generic. I mean, just for the model. I mean, it's not like we're going to be publicly showing.
Sure,
the
absolutely.
word topic. It's just something that we're going to store, right?
Yeah.
Topic.
Okay. And then we have some body to this, right? So I can use the property initializer here, and I'll create a string. You're not getting the autocomplete from your side.
No, I'm not going to get it because I'm not running it locally. So I have to do it the hard way.
So we have the content. Oh yeah, we're gonna need something about when it was published.
Yeah, so something like that.
Okay.
So who's currently freaking out that I'm typing on my machine, you're seeing it on his machine?
Right, so that's Visual Studio Live Share. Is that pretty cool? You like that? So Visual Studio Live Share works in Visual Studio 2017 and Visual Studio Code, and it works on Visual Studio Code on Mac and Windows. We're working on getting it running on Linux also.
So I just typed something else too. Who thinks that I can do that?
Have you seen that before, that syntax? Okay.
I just learned that yesterday. I'm not kidding. I learned that in the keynote. Yeah. So Hanselman was given a keynote yesterday, and he typed like public int blah 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 equals 1. I was like, that's totally wrong.
Well, you know what? Our friends here in the chat room, DevLead, is saying, you know what? That should be UTC now.
All right, so fix it. If there's one thing I'm terrible at is dates. Date is the hardest thing in programming.
And then the whole time zone shift thing.
Yeah, so we should probably be using, like, doesn't John Skeet have a cool package?
A Nota time thing?
Yeah. We can get into that later.
You know what? We can, for right now, we can kind of assume one time zone and stuff like that. All right, so we have an article. Is there anything? We're going to need to know. You know what? I don't want to do security around this yet.
Oh, don't tell Barry that.
Barry Dorans. So Barry Dorans is our ASP.NET security officer. He verifies that all the stuff that we publish for ASP.NET.
Nicest guy you meet.
Nicest guy you ever meet. Yeah, right.
I was being.
Okay, you're being nice. He can be a little irritable. He's easy to.
He's a security guy.
He's a security guy. But he would be quite annoyed if we did not.
You started the conversation, not me.
Yes. Okay. Yes, he's Blow Dart on Twitter. Feel free to mention that we're talking about him on Twitter if you're out on Twitter. And they're even suggesting date time offset. Let's come back to that. Let's start simple here, and we'll move along into this. So we have an index page, we have an article, and we're going to want to use Entity Framework Core to write this to a database.
Okay.
So Entity Framework Core is available to us when we install and we start a new ASP.NET application.
How do I know that?
How do you know that? So there's a couple ways. If I look inside of Visual Studio, I have this dependencies branch, and I can look under SDK, and I see I'm using .NET Core app. But under NuGet, you see that I'm referencing ASP.NET Core all. And this is kind of like the kitchen sink, right? It brings in everything that's cool about ASP.NET Core. Now, it doesn't actually, oh no, it doesn't actually reference and bring all these things with you into production. It'll actually only bring just the things you need when you go to deploy this. But if you scroll down and you look at all the things that all references, you can find in here Microsoft Entity Framework Core. And it actually comes with two providers for you, one for SQL Server and one for SQLite.
And why is that?
Well, because
I'm asking you like I know the answer.
You don't know the answer? Because originally, our friends on Mac and Linux didn't have access to SQL Server locally on those systems. Now they do through a Docker container. Right? You can run SQL Server in a Docker container on Mac and Linux. And that's actually pretty cool that you can that we made that available. We broke the barrier and said we can put this on something besides Windows.
Right. So this is a meta package, right? So this is just it's not an actual, the all package is not it is everything, right? But we're not, when we deploy it, to your point, we're not sending all of this.
No.
Right? We're doing some pseudo tree shaking, right? We're trying to decide smartly, but we're not completely there. That's on our roadmap long term, right? To get there.
Yep,
All
absolutely.
Right. So let's do that.
All right. So I'm going to reference SQLite so that it just works everywhere.
That's fair.
And we'll figure out SQL Server later if we want to do some of those things.
Okay.
So we can add in Entity Framework and make it available. Well, it is actually already available, but I can start to build out a way for us to reference our database using a database context class. So let's start that. I'll start a class, and let's just call this DB context.
DB context.
Yeah.
Everybody knows what that is.
Right. All right. And that actually might be a problem here, because I think the class in Entity Framework is DB context.
So application DB context, that's fine.
So I did a control dot on that to generate my using statement for this. So it satisfies DB context, and I'm actually going to move this into its own file. I'll do a control dot again, and I can move that into another file. And you can see application DB context over here. So database context in Entity Framework, you define and declare what the database tables are that you're going to connect and work with here by creating properties of type DB set. So we have an article, so I'm going to have an article database set here, and the name of my property, let's make it articles. So I have that now. Now I think we need to create a constructor here, a constructor that allows us to pass database options, things like the connection string to get to the database. So I'm going to create a constructor here, and we're going to pass off to the base constructor, right? This is a C# thing that says, since we're inheriting from DB context, call the database context constructor, and I need to pass in my database context options. So I'm just going to pass something called options here, but I need to receive DB context options for application DB context, and we'll call that options.
I'm impressed that you can type all this right off the top of your head.
I've done it a few times.
Okay.
A few, once or twice.
You give a lot of workshops?
I give a lot of workshops. I gave one on Sunday here.
Yeah.
All right, so that will initialize and make that available. Now, why do I have a red line on article? Did you do something over here?
No, I didn't do it. I just made it required. I have to, oh, you know what? I'm not getting, oh, now I'm getting it.
So
I don't know if I can do, oh.
Yeah, you should get the, is it going to generate the using statement for you? So Shayne went, and while I was working, right, this is what you're seeing there, that attribute over topic, that's a annotation that will enforce that this value is required in order to be a valid article. And it's not going to give you that, is it?
No, I'm not getting it.
All right, I'm going to control dot and generate that using statement for you.
Thank you.
Cool. All right. So my context over here, this should allow me to reference and build articles. Now, I talked a little bit in some of my other sessions about dependency injection with ASP.NET Core. In order for us to make this context available and for it to build these options, I actually need to go into my startup class and register this as something that's available throughout my application. And that's this configure services method in startup. So startup has all the things to bootstrap and configure the hosting for your application. So here in configure services, yeah, we're going to do services, what is it, add?
Services dot, that instance?
No, we're not going to do add instance. There's actually a helper method that'll register all the entity framework stuff for us. So I think you want to do something like, you're not going to get the autocomplete, are you?
No.
Oh, man.
I'm coding like, so this is back when I was doing VB3 and I had to know everything.
So I have several options when I start saying add entity framework. I can add entity framework and point to an in-memory database provider, or SQLite, or SQL Server. For this, we wanted to use SQLite, so I'll choose.
Yeah, so what's cool about this, that we have these providers, is if you wanted to do, if you were doing a POC, and I wouldn't suggest doing this normally, but if you're doing something where your testing is, you can look at what platform you're running on, right? So it's like if I'm running, if my environment platform is Windows, then we could add entity framework by itself. If we're running on Mac or Linux, then we could add the SQLite one too.
Sure.
If we wanted to support it.
We can have it choose appropriately. Okay. Some folks in the chat room are saying it looks like LiveShare needs to add some more bells and whistles. You know what? The folks from the LiveShare team, Visual Studio LiveShare team, like to watch and follow along with our stream, and they do take your feedback from the chat room. We, of course, will reach out to them as well and let them know. But LiveShare is very much in a preview here.
Yeah, and we've given a lot of that feedback.
Absolutely. So I'm going to add Entity Framework SQLite, and then I need to do something to configure the options here, don't I? What is it to configure the options? I'm blanking what that
pass a lambda in
format is. Yeah, there was like an options lambda here. Ooh, no, options. Right, and then I should be able to say like options dot, no. I'm forgetting the format of this, but it's in like the default templates.
Pass in the data source?
Yeah, I want to pass in the name of my data source. There we go. Add entity framework. Let's do that. Add entity framework.
.add DB context, and then the name of your class.
So let me control dot on that. What was it? Add DB context?
Yeah, and then the type.
So that was application DB context.
Right.
We can't see that behind your tape flag there.
Oh, sorry, I'll get out of the way.
Thank you. All right, so now I have that sitting there, and I can specify.
Now you have an options.
Is there an options?
Yeah.
There it is. Now I have an options.
And then you have to pass in the file name.
There we go.
Because SQLite works off a local file name.
Right. Where's, what is it?
Data source equals. It's options.useqlite.
.use. Thanks for turning on word wrap. Oh, you're welcome, standby reloading. Use SQLite and then what? Data source equals
/ and then the name of your file.
Oh, fantastic. So let's just call it wiki.db.
It's a wait, yeah.
Okay. So
and then close paren.
And then don't I need to control dot and get this thing? What am I missing here?
I don't think you need added entity framework, do you?
I thought we did.
It's add entity framework, then dot add entity framework SQLite.
Dot add entity framework SQLite, and then add DB context.
Yes.
Now, why isn't it like this top one? This method is no longer functional. Call a provider specific method.
That's a takeoff.
Wow.
It's getting smaller.
Less code to write. I like it. All right. So that makes sense. So we're configuring inside of our dependency injection container SQLite. We're telling it use entity framework. SQLite is our provider we're going to use, and here's the connection string, data source wikidb. Now, you don't have to write that connection string here in the code. You could put it out in a configuration file somewhere.
Yeah, we can pull that up, app settings or
Okay, but for right now,
this will work for now.
This is pretty good. And looks like some of our other friends have joined in. Good morning, Bane Games and Fierce Kittens. Fierce Kittens is another live streamer. She writes code on Tuesday nights from Austin, Texas. She's actually doing a charity stream here for, is it Girls Who Code? That she's going to be doing a charity stream for tonight on Twitch.
Oh,
so you can check out her stream, and she'll be doing some cool things. She's got a cool bot she uses that puts all kinds of crazy GIFs and videos, GIF, not GIF, on screen.
I'm unopinionated.
Okay. I will get opinionated about that.
I'm currently fighting with children on what a meme is.
Really? Come on now. Kids love memes.
They think it's anything that's on the internet.
Anything on the internet?
Anything that makes fun of something else is a meme.
That would make Barry Dorans a walking meme.
Oh, don't even give him that power.
No, so write the pinned tweet. I'm not even gonna go into it. I'm not even gonna go into it.
You're in so much trouble.
I am gonna be in so much trouble. And the bosses are here too, right? Our boss arrived last night, the guy who wears a red shirt. Okay. So we've created Entity Framework SQLite. So now we should be able to read and write from a database our articles. And I don't really need the about and contact pages at this point.
So get rid of those.
Okay, I'll get rid of these pages over here.
We need an article page.
We need an okay, so I'll start an article page. Right? Add new Razor page. Using Entity Framework. So I'll add this. And let's call it article. Templates. I think we're going to start with details, right? Because we want to present the contents of an article.
Yeah, just going to read it.
Yeah. Okay. My model class. So right, this is walking me through this generation here. Let's see here. Article. Yeah. Data context class. So this is right. What's that thing that's connecting to the database for me? So my application DB context. So reference script libraries, use a layout page. By default, there's a layout already here, so I don't need to specify a new layout page. So we'll add that. It'll do some code generation here for me.
If you're using LiveShare, sometimes, and this is one of those things that feedback. Sometimes I get an update of the files he's created. You got an error.
I got an error.
Sometimes I get the new stuff that's happening, and sometimes if I'm inside the file, I will.
We need a primary key on our article object. Remember we were saying we don't have an ID over there. So I think we want to make topic the primary key.
We can actually put a GUID in there as well.
So here's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
Tell me I'm wrong, right? A GUID, so when you design a database, a lot of folks like to use an auto-incrementing integer for the primary key for their objects. A GUID is great, right? So that you have that kind of random 16-bit hexadecimal number, 16-character hexadecimal.
Right.
But if we put it on that topic, it'll enforce that the topics are unique, and it'll be easy to just search for and find the topic name.
That's fair. All right, so how are we making this a PK?
So you actually just inside that same square bracket, you can just put, comma key. No, not.
Oh, just comma key.
Yeah.
Sweet.
So the key attribute tells Entity Framework this is unique, this is required, and enforce that when we save to the database. And it'll actually generate the primary key markup inside the database for me. All right.
All right, so Vortex Suit says some SQL folks would say have an ID that is meaningless.
Yeah, okay. So, right, this is the database debate of, do I have a clustered index primary key so that I can search for and order those things appropriately,
Okay.
versus, I mean, this really is what I do want to be unique, what I do want to be indexed and search across when I think about database theory, right?
Yeah, but I don't want to get into a big argument, but I would argue that I wouldn't even use a relational database for this content.
Go on. Go on.
Yeah, claps. See?
Oh, listen to
Claps.
listen to the claps there in the room,
All right,
right?
so because
Go ahead.
if we're designing a wiki,
Yeah.
right, we don't have. I would argue when you're doing wikis, you're going to have dynamic content around. You have a dynamic schema around a wiki, right? So a wiki is just a dumpster of information.
Okay.
So I can't. All of the properties that are surrounding something like a car
Okay.
would not be the same around maybe something around a book or
Sure.
around shoes or maybe a historian or a public figure. So all of the properties that are around each one of those things you might put in a wiki is not, you couldn't design a schema around that. And if they said, oh, we're going to add a new topic type, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Then we'd have to go in and design and change the schema, add to our model, do database migrations, do all these things. If I just had something like a document database like Mongo or a Cosmos or something
Yeah,
like
Janescu's
that.
saying maybe Cosmos DB works good.
So that would be, I think, long-term our target. Now, EF Core 2.1, which is coming shortly,
Coming soon.
that will actually support as a provider over Cosmos.
Okay.
All right. We don't have that yet, but thinking like if we are going to make this a real product, we might want to think, hey, down the road, we can POC this as using SQLite, right? But going forward, we can move towards a kind of a document database.
I think you're right. I think that's a good idea. Or even saving into table storage on Azure, where you do have that key and then that blob of information that could be some JSON that has whatever fields we want to bolt onto this.
Right. So I want to make sure that as we're thinking through this design, and this is one of those decisions when I'm telling people about designing APIs and stuff, if you're going to go towards a document database, don't get caught up in designing your whole application around an ID.
Okay.
Right. I'm not searching things by ID. I'm not indexing things by ID. Sometimes a GUID is best, or something that is going to be your primary searchable thing, right? Like our topic.
Right.
Right. So, anyways.
Okay.
Food for thought.
No, that's good comments. Thank you. All right. So it generated the page. Well, no, it didn't. We fixed and put a key on here. We need to try and generate that page again. So let's try and do this one more time. Add Razor page with entity framework. You know what? Should we put it with CRUD? Right? CRUD, create, read, update, and delete. It gives you all 4 pieces of functionality at the same time here. So this way we can actually get the edit built at the same time. So we'll have an article, and I'll go the application DB context, and let's see if that builds. The following files already exist. Index.html.
I don't see that. Oh, I see index CSHTML.
Do you want to replace them?
Sure.
Okay. I didn't specify a name for the page though. It wasn't in the thing. Oh, you know what? Is it generating an index that has a list of these things? I've got a bum exception there. All right, hang on. So I think our index page now
Is our list?
is a list, and this is one of those.
It's not liking you a whole lot.
It's not. Let's try open with and open with something else. Let's try this one. Yes. Sure. There it is. So now it's giving me a list of articles on the index page with edit, details, delete.
Right.
That might not be too bad to start.
That's okay.
So let's run this and see what it looks like.
All right.
All right. So I'm going to run with IIS Express here. Now, it looks like you dropped on live share.
No, I'm still connected. Maybe? Yes? No? I'm not sure.
Did my thing disconnect you here? No such table articles. So I don't have an articles table yet. but I'm using the SQLite database, I should be able to just say, enforce that this thing exists,
Yeah.
right? And it'll build it.
Yeah.
All right, now I'm forgetting how to say enforce this thing exists. But I mean, there's my WikiDB. I need to, I should be able to do something like, right, there's a thing to enforce all the tables are created, right? We did this in, gosh, actually, you know what? It looks like my network connection on this machine went. So let's say, the way that we generate those entity framework things, so the database is here, I can create, I can create that entity framework, the data for it, by adding my entity framework tools here. So let's do that. .NET CLI tool reference include, let's see if I can get it to go here. Microsoft, was it Entity Framework Core?
I got kicked out last year.
You did get kicked out.
That's right. I'm coming back in.
All right. I'm trying to remember the exact. I'm going to cheat and go to another piece of code and lift it from there. How's that sound?
It's hey, copy and paste, man.
Copy and paste, man. That's the way we do inheritance here. Let's see. You know what? I'm looking for one of my other projects here where I'm doing something. No. Here, I'm doing it in this one, I believe. So let's open with Notepad, the choice of discerning developers everywhere. There it is. That's what I want. So I'll copy that, paste that right in there. So .NET Microsoft Entity Framework Core Tools .NET, and this will allow me to run entity framework commands at the command line. So what I can do now over here is I can actually say .NET, let's say .NET Restore first to make sure that I have my entity framework tools. Got it. And now I can say .NET EF migrations add, and I'll call this
init.
Yeah, initial. Yeah. Uh-oh. You'd know how to do this if you watched the Dev Chatter stream. Well, I feel bad. Database.migrate. Yes, but I need the migrations added. All right. Cool.
We need yet another screen so we can see the chat stream.
Well, that's right here.
Well, maybe you should pay attention to your fifth machine you have in front of you.
That's the phone over there. This is like ADHD on steroids. All right, so you can see there it created the table for the migrations history. It should have also created that article table here for us. Where is it? I don't see create article, do you? There's initial. Migration history. Is it here? Am I missing it?
You can run the app and we'll find out.
All right, let's do that. So that, when I did that add migrations, it created this initial bit here where it has instructions for creating the table.
Let's create table articles.
Yeah. All right, let's give it a shot. So now, this is actually also launching on Shayne's machine.
So I'll show the...
You'll show the audience here in the room.
It actually launched on my machine. The browser.
All right, so we have an index.
And
so it's tunneling across using SSL, right, through the interwebs, through the magic of the hotel, and back down into my machine. So Shayne's actually attached and able to see the debugger on my machine using live share.
And you can see the output. I'll actually disconnect power here for a second. You can actually see the output on the bottom of my VS Code of everything that's coming through.
Yeah, So that's a pretty cool way if you're collaborating with somebody, if you're pair programming with somebody else who's working remotely, or even if you're just sitting at two desks next to each other to be working on the same code. Standby reloading in the chat room says, while screens.count is less than screens.count plus 1, screens.get more.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. We all need more screen real estate. And this is Rigel in the Twitch chat room says, can we agree Java is obsolete? I'm going to ask that to the room here at DevIntersection. What do you think? Is Java obsolete? Wow. Yeah. This young lady over here is nodding her head right away. Yes. And a couple folks over here are saying yes. Now, to be fair, this is a very .NET focused group, right? We're biased. Java's okay. Our friends at Oracle are doing a nice job with it. And Brendan is saying he sure hopes so. I can't back that up. I can't. All right, so we have a basic index page where I can create new articles now. Published, and I can specify, because I'm using Chrome, I can specify a publish date. I don't think we want people to allow people to specify a publish date. I think we kind of want to default. We are defaulting that.
I did default it, so maybe that should be a
read-only field?
Read-only field
on this create page. And my content here, I could type something like, hello, DevIntersection. No, DevIntersection in Orlando. And if I click create, the published field is required.
Huh.
Well,
you just created, oh, you have to have it's a date, we have a date time field, so it probably requires time as well.
Looks like it. All right, so let's make it 11 a.m.
So what we should do is make this actually a string field and then put a date time control on here that's a date picker.
Oh, that's a good idea. So if I click create, is it going to save it for me? Right, it should have. Well, and you know what? I don't have topic here. Let me go back to list. And it doesn't look like it actually saved those into my database here. Let me set that again.
I need to go, maybe I can put a breakpoint somewhere.
Do you want to set a breakpoint? We can take a look at that. Hello, oh, look at that. Auto completed.
Give me 1 second, let's see if I can get that. Save changes async. There we go.
There you go. And I'm going to click create. And you know what? It's not actually. Oh, there we go. Waiting for localhost. I saw it down there, but I didn't actually see it do anything. So,
yeah.
Whoops.
Yeah,
so where's it actually going?
You might have to put a breakpoint on your side.
Yeah, I can't see what it's actually saving. It should be writing back to that same page to do the create. So my Razor page here, I'm going to have to open with. So when I did that save, it should be writing it into a folder. You know what? I bet you it's upset because that topic isn't on my page, right? It looks like it's trying to treat it like a like an ID.
Well, it's a key, an ID, so we have to actually put it, add it into the.
We need a field for it.
Field for it. Let's see if I can.
And I think we wanted to make published something that's just defaulted for us.
So let's see. Yeah, we should just be able to copy and paste our control here.
And you want to use the exact same thing that we have for content, but you want to make that for the topic. Okay, I'm going to change published here so that it has a value automatically filled in. So ASP4 article published, this should have a value here. So let's say value equals, and I will make this datetime.utc now. I think I need to put an @ in front of that.
All right.
All right, so you change that over to the topic. We have this here that it'll default content, and our friends there in the chat room are saying that my content should have data type multi-line or something like that. You know what? Let's come back to that. That's a
yeah, because it's just right now single line text field.
Right. So I'm going to just refresh the page here, because this is Razor. I should be able to refresh and see. Now there's our validation. Topic field is required. And it didn't default my publish here. We gotta figure that one out. So I'll make this 11. Topic is, we'll make it hello world. And there we go. All right, so we have edit working to save content back into database, and it appears here on the create, and I should be able to click details, published, and content. And that's not really formatted nicely for a wiki yet.
Oh, I think it looks great.
Oh, come on now. All right, so let's start enhancing here. So our friends in the chat room said we should make that like a multi-line object here.
Okay.
So I'm
trying to figure out our datetime problem.
Okay, while you're looking up the datetime problem, I'm gonna go into the article and I'm gonna make that content, right? Right, is it data type? And they were suggesting, where is it? Data type dot, and you were saying multi-line? Multi-line text. There we go. We can also set like a max length on this too. I'm not going to force a max length on it just yet. Carl H. Mann says, asking the question, is Java dead at a .NET conference is like asking Barack Obama was a good president at the Democratic National Convention. Wow. Okay.
We'll just leave that one.
Yeah, we'll let that one go. All right, so I just updated my data type here on this, right? I didn't do anything different to my presentation. My Razor template is still using this little helper on the create page that says input for, right? And this is another one of those tag helpers that it's going to inspect that type and it's going to figure out, well, what's the appropriate input type to generate for this? So I'm going to go over here and we'll see my debugger kicking off, and we should see it attach and show me what this looks like. And the chat room is still talking about dead versus obsolete in Java. Stop it in there. We don't need any more of that. We're building an application here.
All right, I just got the shakes. I'm looking up for something about datetime, and regex came up. So
dude,
sorry about
I don't
that.
want to deal with that. Regex is, oh. Then you got two problems if you do regex. That's a great comment here in the room. So I clicked edit, and it's not giving the multi-line here on the edit page. If I click create, it's still not giving me multi-line. Shoot, how do we do that multi-line? The multi-line edit. What we want is a text area, right? The only religion we need to speak. Okay, I'm not even going there with religion. I'm not even going to finish reading that out loud. Oh my gosh. Well, all right, tabs versus spaces. We can all agree that tabs are how you should be formatting your code. I had another program manager on the team actually check out one of my projects and convert all my tabs to spaces and check it back in. It's like, thanks a lot. That makes me feel good.
All right, so change it from input type.
Yeah?
Change it to text area.
For the content.
Yeah.
So down here. All right, so this is on the create page. If I change that to text area, we should be good with that one. Do you want to do that on the edit page?
I can do that on the edit page.
Can of worms opened. Stop going there, guys. Oh, we can have these developer holy wars later. So that's our friend Check Digits over in the UK. Good, you got that updated?
Not yet. Sorry, I was just laughing at it.
So I want to make sure that we call out again, thanks so much to our friends here at the DevIntersection conference in Orlando for hosting us and letting us work through this here on stage. They're having their next conference is going to be in Las Vegas in December. You can see more about that over on that side. There you go. All right.
Yeah, we're good.
Dark
there.
theme versus light theme. Look at that. Oh my gosh. We don't want to go there either. So light theme I'm using today because it shows up really well on the screen here in the room.
Light theme for presentations, dark theme for productivity.
Yeah, I kind of agree. So we're saved, we're up to date. You
Yeah.
updated that for us. So I will click into edit here. All right, so I've got a,
Now you just have to set the size, height and width.
now wait a sec. That looks really janky in there.
What did you put in there?
I didn't put anything, man. It's just copying in. Oh, you know what? On the edit, are you ending the tag with a text area? Let me go over, let me see what you're looking at over there.
I just did a whack on it. Now I am. So apparently text area does not have a self-closing tag.
So we actually need to do this.
I saved it already. Well,
Okay. So let's take a look. Let's refresh that page again. There we go. That's better.
all right. So I just
So because we didn't have an end text area tag, it was just jamming everything into it that was the rest of my page.
right.
Okay. So that's not bad. All right. So we have a simple add and edit page. We can change the publish date. We can't change the title, and the title isn't actually here on the edit page.
Yeah. So I can add that in too.
All right. So let me follow you as you go do that. It's not showing me where you are.
I'm on the edit page.
Oh, you know what? This is having... Right, where are you?
I am up on.
Yeah, it's not showing me where you are on this page.
Oh, I'm sorry. So there should be input. Take this out.
So you're adding the topic. It's hidden right here now. So when you save that, it should reload for me. Or not. So I think my Visual Studio is in a weird mode now because it won't open my Razor pages at all unless I do this
Right.
different editor. All right. Let me close and reopen and see if I can get your content. Open with HTML. Yes. Go. All right, so now we have your, well, I don't have the same page as you.
No, you're.
Well, let's see what it looks like if I just refresh over here. Yeah. So now I've got content twice.
Oh, you know what? I didn't. Maybe it's not saved.
Did you save from your
I hit
side?
save. It says topic, topic, topic. Yeah.
Yeah, I see article topic, article topic, article topic, article content. Oh wait, that's in create. Hang on. Let me go over to edit. Let's see edit. Make sure we get this right.
Oh wait, I changed it in create. Let me go to edit. They looked exactly the same.
Sure.
Yeah, I've got a topic up there too. In
Yeah, I see article.content up at the top here.
yeah, and I've got topic edit.
Try and save that again. Just kind of force
Sure.
the issue.
I'll make a quick change and hit save.
All right.
Oh, now you can see me.
No, I'm over in create over
Oh.
here. Yeah, my edit page isn't updating. I think that's another live share.
So how we hit
deal.
stop? Hit stop on the debugger.
Okay.
See if we can force a kind of a reset.
So I'm going to open with, try this again. Yes. Yes. Yeah, see, it's showing me article content here. I'll change this by hand, just so we can get past this.
Look what it's doing. It's screwing all that up.
Oh, man.
We have a sync problem.
We do.
I think we have a problem.
All right.
Yeah, you're all. All right. Let me see if I can do.
Well, we don't really want a text area for the topic. We want this.
No,
as
I
an
had it
input.
changed as well.
Okay.
So it's like there's a latency push area. So I'll open up edit and see what it's showing me now.
Yeah, now I see you there. Look at
Yeah,
that.
But it's all wacky.
Oh my gosh.
Let me close this.
Reopen.
And what I'll do is I'll go back to the live share and I'll join again.
Okay. Try and resync.
Yeah, see if we can pull this down.
Okay. And here. Okay. Stop debugging, then try again. Yep, that's what we're going to do there, Jasper Panda. All right. Yeah, you're getting it.
All right, so now it's pulling it down. I'm going to go into that edit page. So now I see you, topic, topic, topic. I can see your little chevron there. You should be able to see me.
Yep. All right. We're back on.
All
okay.
right.
So now let's try this again. So we're slowly adding user interface features to this. Here it comes. Houston, we have a problem. Actually, Orlando, we have a problem. All right.
All right. So if I click edit on my side.
Right. I don't necessarily follow you.
Right.
But there we go. That's what we're kind of expecting this to look like. So we can specify the topic, the publish date, and then the content. And we really want that publish date to go away and be defaulted for us.
Well,
So
it should be defaulted. I mean, the date was coming in, right? Or was it not?
it wasn't.
Let me go to home. We go create new. Okay, it's not coming in here. So back
Yeah,
to
it's
list.
not defaulting on our create page.
All right.
I'm going to quick remove the about and contact pages up at the top in our layout.
Okay.
Just while you're taking a look at that. So I'm going to go over here to our page layout. So our pages point to and use a layout, a shared layout that's right here. So I'm going to open with, and I'm only doing this because my Visual Studio is a little bit, it's a preview, it's a little bit off right now. I'm just going to remove those two. Right, get rid of that.
You want to stop debugging. I'm going to change this C# code in the back.
Oh, there you are. Okay. So what do we need to change here?
I'm going to try and see if we just do this longhand.
Old school properties with getters and setters.
Yeah.
Right, so auto properties, that was a feature that we saw back in like C# 5 or something like that, 6.
Yeah. So I think I'm not going to get any IntelliSense or help here. So I'm going to create.
Yeah, date time first.
I was thinking about the wrong language.
Ah, okay.
Published equals datetime.utc now. And then we'll just return published. And this should be read only, so the set we'll just leave like it is for now.
Excuse me.
I think what's happening is that when it's being initially called, the box is messing with the model because it has a getter and a setter. Right, so
Okay.
setting it to whatever the box is because of the binding that's there.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and let me see this format.
So standby reloading is saying you could just fat arrow that part.
Okay, we'll fix that. Go ahead and start her up and let's see what happens.
All right. One more time. And I will zoom my browser here a little bit because it is scaled down a little bit for this user interface.
So I've talked to Casey Uhlenhuth about doing some cool Roslyn things around like what
Standby reloading is
was
suggesting?
was saying about, hey, you're doing something stupid. You can make this better.
Can we make it a little more polite than you're doing something
No,
stupid?
I was saying like you could do something better.
Okay.
Right? But like, hey, give me a red squiggly or maybe a different color. Like, I don't know, orange, or something that's maybe friendly to everybody, and tell me that, hey, we have found a little helper. I think you can build your own helpers
Yes.
using some of the Roslyn stuff.
Mm-hmm.
To tell me, like, you could fat arrow this or put a lambda in this, right, to make it better. So that would be kind of a cool project to do. And it looks like it didn't solve our problem, right?
No, it didn't. Well, that's a little bit better when I did edit, but I don't think that's the same value that we saved.
Probably not.
So I think what we need to do, let me turn this back into the get set.
Okay. Can you undo everything? Do you get history?
I get your undo history. Look at that. I'm Control-Zing through what you wrote.
That's pretty cool.
But I think it's going to be a little bit quicker for me to just yank it.
That was just out of sheer curiosity. I wanted to see if you could do that.
Sure, it can be done. Should it be done? No.
No.
All right. And then let's do this back with the datetime.utc now so that we have a default for it. Let's come back and figure that out a little bit later. That feels like just a missing piece there that we can solve.
Okay.
We
fair
can
enough.
solve, but I don't want to get wrapped up in it
No,
right
that's
now.
fair.
I think there's other features we want to add in the short term.
Yeah.
So our create and edit pages at this point really have just a text box for you to build content. And we know that wikis have this rich content that folks want to build and write into this. And they'll use stuff like Markdown to write their articles so that you can take advantage of some richer HTML for this.
Right. So there's a lot of little widgets and controls and things out there. And you had sent me one the other night about this called like simple MDE, or what was the tool that we were talking about that might
It was a
solve
simple Markdown editor that we could use, and then we need a Markdown interpreter to paste it onto the page.
this? Okay.
Right, there you go, simple MDE.
Yeah, simple MDE is what we were
Right, let
using.
me bring that up in a browser here so we can see what it looks like. And of course, I'm going to use Microsoft Edge,
Okay.
the preferred browser of Windows developers. Let's see, simple MDE. Can't connect to the web right now. I'm on the web.
Did you type it right? SimpleMDE.com?
I'm going to Bing. There we go. Simple MDE. There we go. So this actually looks pretty nice for our needs.
It's got some cool
Simple,
features.
embeddable, beautiful JavaScript Markdown editor. It's got some nice features.
All right, we'll take it. How do we get it in there?
I don't know. Let's find out. So let's see, we could download a zip,
How about we just use NPM?
npm.
Yes.
Could it be that easy?
The preferred installer of
Discerning node.
JavaScript developers.
All right. So what I'll do, right? So npm, right? That's that node package manager tool. It required to use Edge. Edge works great. It's an amazing browser. You know what? No, let's just go back to the command line, right?
Yeah.
All right. npm install, and what's the name of the package?
Simple MDE --save.
--save. All right, so it does all this stuff. And Brendan's recommending we use Yarn. What's the difference between NPM and Yarn? I've heard a lot about Yarn.
Well, here's the thing: is that NPM now does a lot, if not everything, that Yarn does. The interesting thing is that you need NPM to install Yarn, so that's like asking your old girlfriend to move in your new girlfriend. So it's a little weird, but
Okay.
Yarn is fast, but NPM is also kind of bridge the gap. I asked a good friend on our cloud developer team because I was concerned that if I didn't use Yarn, I was going to be an old person.
Well, I'm still using Bower in place.
That makes
right?
you old. Bower does not exist anymore.
Okay, Bower is so 2016.
Yeah, So
Alright.
you can get everything you used to get off of Bower, you can get on NPM, right? All of your assets. So
Okay.
You should not be using Bower to get your things, especially if you're going to be doing other JavaScript type of stuff in your apps. There's still a debate on whether you should, at least in my mind, discussions I've had, NPM versus Yarn. So I think they still both do the same things, and they both do them fast. I've been hit or miss on getting Yarn to work. Sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't. And when it does, it works great.
I'm just taking all the defaults here.
All right.
And I'll do that.
I don't even know what an ISC license is.
It's a thing.
I'll use MIT.
There we go.
All right.
All right. So we've got our one package installed, right? If I do more on package JSON, there it is. I have my one package installed.
Awesome.
Simple MD. All right. Now, how do I put that into my project? Because that's in, right? That's in that node modules folder, right? Right. I have a node modules folder. What's inside there? So there I have simple MDE.
And they have some cool features. They got spell checking. They've got type stuff in there. They've got fonts. So there's probably a lot of those related type of
Features, resources.
and packages that go along with it that you're going to need.
Okay.
So I'm just looking at their open source stuff on GitHub on how do we put that in there. And there's a couple of options. One of the things we have, it says just load it into the first text area on the page. So we only have one text area on there, so we can just add this little simple script.
Well, and our friend here, Standby Reloading in the chat room, is pointing out we need to move that from node modules into our project.
Okay.
So he's saying let's use bundle config to copy that in.
Okay.
So I'm going to go into bundle config here real quick.
All right, you can do that, and I'll try and get this thing working in our edit pages and stuff.
Okay, so bundle config is where we have definitions for ASP.NET to take files, bundle them together, and put them in different places that are then minified and available, easier for folks to download. So I'm going to write this into output file name, and I want to put this into www.root. All right, we have a lib folder here, so I'm going to put it into lib simple MDE, and then it's going to be the JavaScript I want to move first. So simple MDE min.js, simple MDE min.js. All right, and the input file is the file that I'm actually going to move. I'll do that, and I'm going to move from node modules. And it was in simple MDE dist, simple MDE min.js. I want to do the same thing with the CSS and put it in the same folder. So I'm just going to copy paste, and it's min.css. So I'll just change this to CSS, save that file, and if I let it run that, I should see a folder appear here.
New folder pop into there, yeah.
It's not popping in there. Did I do something wrong? Did I break it? Where is it? It's not package manager. Which one is it? It should also do it when I build, but yeah.
Live share kicked me out.
Live share kicked you out again?
Yeah, that's okay.
All right, I'm going to just create the folder to kind of force it to appear, I hope. Let's see, let's run this again. Bundler minifier, yeah, enable bundle on build, yes. Bundler and minifier update. There we go, now the files are there. It didn't create the folder for me by default.
That's weird.
Yeah. All right, so we need to bring those onto the page. And then you were saying there's some script to make that work.
Yeah, there's a, I'm just joining the live share session. So there's a simple script tag that we can put on the file, on the edit page and the create page that will look for the first text area on the page and automatically inject this editor into that page. Since we only
Wrap
have
it with the toolbars and stuff.
Yeah, since we only have one text area on the page, this will suit our needs.
Okay.
There's a way to use it with jQuery. There's a way to use it with scripting and pass it in the tag name or the ID of the actual text box we want to put it in. But since we only have one, this seems to be the simple way.
Fantastic.
So
easier is better.
waiting for this thing to join. It's taking some time. In the meantime, what you can do is just add a script tag, and I can just...
Well, I should add these things into my header and into my script areas of my create and edit pages, right? We need to make sure that those are available on the page.
Yeah. I need you to look at this.
Oh, all right.
What room are we in?
We are in Mockingbird here.
Okay.
Yeah. If you need to bounce, sounds like you may need to.
Just for 1 second.
Cool.
So if you go to their wiki page, you'll see the script.
All right, let me bring that up. See if my network connection, there we go. All right, so I need to add a link and I need to add a reference to the script.
Right, and I'll
I'm
be
good
right
to
back.
go. Alrighty. So here we go. I'm gonna go do that on both my create and edit pages because I don't really need it on every page. I just need it on these two where I'm actually editing and writing that content. So let me put it here. I'm just gonna create a reference to that script that's here in my, right, www lib right there. So generate that script tag. And I also have in my layout, I have an area up at the top that I'm going to put my styles. I need to put it somewhere up in here. So from our Razor templates, you may remember we can do, right, at section, right? And then I can specify stuff like styles is the name of this section. I'm sorry. Right? What is it? Render section. Styles, right? And if I have a styles section, it'll render it there. I want to make sure that it's not required, right? I want to say false. Is not required in order to render. So I'll go back to create and I'll create another section here, styles, and I will reference that CSS here. There we go. And I think that's all I need to get those on the page, right? It's styles with, let me make sure these capitalization pieces match. So I've got scripts, I've got styles, and then the last piece Shayne was telling us about is here on the quick start, to have it attached to the first text area on a page, I just need to write some script to have it attach. That's way too easy for me to use. I can't pass that up, so I'm just going to put that right there. All right. Let's see here. Usually you can watch past streams here on Twitch, and I post these to YouTube as well. Yes. Absolutely, you can always watch this content later on YouTube. All right, so that should, on my create page now, turn this text area into the our markdown editor. So let's see what that looks like. I'll start the project. Here comes Chrome. It's going to connect over. Learned something new, was thinking the same thing in a new project I'm working on, use NPM and import the JavaScript and CSS from node modules. Yeah, I think it's a neat trick to do that, to just use that bundler to push things across. Flick says, yo dude, I need to learn ASP.NET or SQL. I mean, can I also do my job that I can do with ASP or SQL with Python or JavaScript? Sure you can. Absolutely. But this is the content that we're learning and using here on stream. Ooh, look at that. So it's already starting to paint in my little editor here, and I've got a resolving host. Now my network issues with this machine I think are gonna, oh, look at that, look at that. So I've got a complete toolbar here so I can start creating something. So let's call this second article. And let's say hello. This is, look at that, it's even giving me spell correction, right? This is my second article, and let's make the word second article, let's make it bold and italics. And it's giving me that markup that it's going to put into the markdown there. So that looks pretty cool, and it's telling me how big it is. I'm not sure what the 31 is. But let's create that. Oh, I need to specify a date, right. So I will specify today, and it's 11/27. So we'll specify that, and we'll create, and it saved it. Now the content looks weird here in the list. If I go over to the details, it still looks weird because I'm not rendering that markdown yet. I created and I saved it, but it's not actually doing anything with it yet. Okay. No problem. So it looks like Shayne's going to need to jet. We've got a problem he needs to get ready for the next session that he's going to be working on. Thank you for joining. Let's see. If you have more ideas about servers and other things can get you a better job. Sure. Right? More knowledge about more developer things, knowing stuff about DevOps can get you a better job.
Thank you, everybody.
Catch you later, Shayne. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, guys.
And he's off. So I had the markdown, it's being rendered, it's not being rendered yet, it's being served. We need to actually turn it back into HTML. Let me scoot over a little here now so I'm better on the camera. So let's actually start rendering that markdown. And what you can do is you can use a tag helper to do this for you. And it's real easy for you to go out and find a tag helper on NuGet.org to put into the mix here and start rendering your code better. So I'm just going to go out to NuGet.org, and I am going to grab, I'm going to say markdown tag helper. And I've got a bunch of different markdown tag helpers I can use. In particular, I'm going to grab the one here from our friend Rick Strahl called Westwind ASP.NET Markdown. And this tag helper that Rick has built uses the markdig markdown parser. So what that lets us do with markdig is it allows us to specify and add new features into the markdown parser so that in the future when we start parsing things like wiki words, we'll be able to adapt and turn those into hyperlinks without any additional markup on our articles. We'll do all that in code behind the scenes here. All right, so let's add this package. Now I could, in my package manager, issue this command at the .NET command line. I could pass this in. Let me just do that. And I'll copy that, run it right here on the command line, and it'll add that package into my project. I am not using his markdown editor right now, no. All right. So that added into my project. So now I should be able to use, if I go to his project site, it'll show me how to use his markdown tag helper over here. Let's see. Where does he use his tag helper? He wrote an article about this. Westwind tag helper. GitHub. Here we go. This is an article that he wrote 4 days ago about how to use this new tag helper. Thanks for the follow. Is that Zoo Home? Terrific. All right. So he uses just markdown, and then he passes in the object that he's going to be parsing. So we need to reference this, make it available on our pages, and we do that by adding an import statement. Where is it? I want to see what his import statement looks like. Let's see there. He has a README there. I thought he did on his page. Let me go back to his GitHub. Let's see. So I was on the project site, and you were down in master markdown README. So he's up here. ASP.NET Core Markdown. There it is. So we add tag helper, right? So this is something that you need to execute in order to tell Razor that there's a piece of C# here that you're going to be able to use. So I'm going to reach over to my pages, and inside of View Imports, this is where we tell it there's tag helpers available. And I'll just paste in, not that statement, this one. There it is. My editor is not behaving. Let me stop sharing and see if that clears things up. There we go. All right, so this is saying add all the tag helpers that are in the Westwind ASP.NET Core Markdown assembly. All right, so I'll save that. And then I can start using the tag helper by just wrapping things with this markdown tag. That seems easy enough. So let me go back to my details page, because this is really where I want to show the contents of the article. And I don't want these this list to show the content. Really what I want to show is not the title of article. I actually want to have the article's title up at the top here, not even details, right? I want to say at model dot, and then it was topic, I think was our, oh, look at this, it's a details model. Oops. So article dot, there it is, topic. Because details model is the code behind the page model for this. So there I'll put the topic at the top, and then I don't really, right, I don't want to have this div with this list here. Let's get rid of this. Let's start to make this really look more like a wiki page. I'll just put I should be able to say markdown, and then at model article content. Let's see if that works. I'm gonna have to restart because I did add packages to this. So if I rebuild, these should turn purple. There we go. So markdown turned purple because it realizes that's a tag helper. And I'm gonna start this now, and I should be able to navigate to that page and start to see that markdown content that I saved into that content field rendered as HTML. So if I click details over here, no, it's not rendering that as content yet, right? So it actually didn't do anything with that. It actually outputted it directly. All right. HTML5 has the article div. It does. Let's see here. What am I doing wrong? So this should actually be parsed and output appropriately in the details page. I mean, it's clear that's what it's trying to do. Let me see what we can do here. And I see there's some discussion on programming languages in the chat room right now. That's all right. And if I click details over here, no, it's not rendering that. And it's just parsing that markdown directly out. So is there something from Rick's tools here that I'm missing? Let me go back to that. All right, let's take a look, see. He was back there, was the page. Right, so Westwind ASP.NET Core, let me back up one because his tag helper project was here. It feels like there's something I'm not quite doing right. So markdown equals, let's try this way and see if that works. Instead of putting this in the middle of here. Let's do that. So if I say markdown equals, and if I say model article.content, let's see if that works. Now I got nothing. That didn't work. Does that work? Nope. It's still, it looks like it's not interpreting and actually triggering Rick's markdown helper here at all. Right? Thank you, Moving Bilbong, for following. I appreciate that. If I do this, let's close that. So that's where we were, but it doesn't look like, right, we had this in view imports. There it is. Right, that should be including. Do I need to stop debugging and rebuild? I thought I rebuilt and it should be working. So I'll do rebuild solution. Because Visual Studio clearly sees it. And we'll try this one more time. Clear the cache, Rigel says. So we'll refresh. Here it comes. Details. There it goes. All right, now we're talking. And if I view the source, you can see it actually generated a paragraph tag there with the appropriate markup around it. And that actually feels and looks a little bit more like a Wiki article. So we've actually come a pretty good distance here, and I don't think we're quite done yet, because when I click edit, I've still got the content here looking funny. Let me reformat that so the edit page looks like my create page. So let me go to create, and I'm going to grab, let me grab this, and I'm going to put that same set of scripts and styles down here at the bottom. There we go. And I need to, I don't think I need to do anything else. Right? Let's restart and see if my edit page works. Do I think F# and the supremacy of functional programming over OOP will make C# disappear slowly? No. A lot of folks like C#, a lot of folks use C# all the time. I think you're going to see a lot of folks continue to use C#. All right, that's not, yeah, we have columns and rows here on the text area. Let's remove those and see if that makes it look a little bit better. Did it save? Did it reload? Let's get that. Right, why am I not? My text area is still kind of limited there and it looks wonky, right? That's a technical term, wonky. No? I mean, it's doing my formatting properly and putting it in there. All right. Oh, you know what? Yeah, look at this. This is only 4 wide. Let's make it the full width of the page. There we go. That's better. All right. So now my edit page looks a little bit better. I'm a little bit happier with that. Let me make sure I save this out to source control so folks can get to it and you can follow along, and as we go forward we'll be able to continue to enhance and build on this very simple wiki. I'm going to want to do things with attributes, with routing in the future, because you see I have this really ugly looking URL at this point, and I don't like my index page either. When I click details, I don't want to have you go to details ID equals hello world. I'd like you to be able to just navigate right to the name of that article. But for right now, let's get this into GitHub so that folks can take a look at it. A lot of the Microsoft folks say they can party on it later. So I will go to github.com /Fritz, and ooh, that's big. You know what? Firefox I already have signed in to GitHub. There we go. Oh, there's our friend Scott Kate in Mixer. Come on, GitHub. Network. So to be fair, I have the stream going out on a wired network connection, and my machine that I'm actually editing on is on a wireless connection, and it's not getting as good a connection. Yes, I did say party on. Codename code party, what is that? Oh, that's what we should have called our friend Jonathan Carter. He's the program manager for Visual Studio Live Share. The code name for that product previously was Code Party. One of those little known facts, something that Mary Jo Foley would tell you when she goes through and talks about all the software code names that we have at Microsoft. I'm not getting to GitHub here. Let me see if I can disconnect from the network and reconnect. There we go. All right. So I'm going to create a new repository here. Come on, work. Did my connection die that quickly? Here we go. So I will call this core wiki, a simple ASP.NET core wiki that we are working on during live coding streams. It's going to be public. I'm going to initialize this with a README. We will start with a git ignore that's good for folks who are using Visual Studio. And we're going to make this MIT licensed. MIT license allows folks to copy and reuse your code, and it provides a little bit of friendliness for folks who have patents. So, and there we go. Now I have a repository, and I'm going to start working with this by copying out that, and I will initialize a Git repository here on my workstation, and then let's add that remote location. So git remote add, it's going to be the origin, and I'll paste in that address, and now I can pull from that foreign location. So I will do a git pull. Give me all the files that are out there first. If I just say git pull, it's going to get upset at me and it doesn't know where I'm actually pulling from. So I will say git branch set upstream to equals origin master. Thank you. All right, now I can git pull. Oh no. There's nothing here though. Git log. I don't have anything. Right, there's nothing here locally. Eugh. Ugh. Add everything. Git commit. First commit. All right. If If I do a git pull force, that should merge it. Oh no. Will it git push and allow me to do it? I'm going to be mean. There we go. All right. Cool. So now my code is all here. There we go. My README disappeared on me, and so did my license file. Because I did that force, right? So that's fine. Generate the README. Put it out there. And I'll just grab a license from another project and copy it in. So here's my license. Right, git pull, let me go get that README so I don't have another collision. Notepad, license, yep, new file, paste it in. Added license. What? I spelled amend wrong. Yep, good. I did it again. There we go. Demon521, thank you for the follow. All right, so now all of our source code is available online for this project. It's hiding here. There it is, core wiki. So I have a license, it shouldn't be .text, but that's all right. All right, so all my source code's available. We wrote a very simple, very quick wiki here that just allows us to read and write some articles, but we need to do things to make this easier to do. We need to work on our routing so that it allows us to search and navigate right there on the address bar, right? So that excuse me, so that we don't get this ugly details ID equals thing. That feels really weird. And I need to make that, you know, actually look like its own page that you're navigating to. And at some point I'm going to want to put security on this. I'm going to want to put security on this. I know I said gonna want to put. That's the Philly in me coming out. I'm going to want to put security on this so that not everybody can click edit and change the content of these things. Because when I eventually make this wiki public and I allow folks to browse to it, I don't want them to be able to change the content of this just ad hoc, willy-nilly, without actually tracking it. And at some point, history might be a good idea to come along here as well. So let's do this. Let's record a couple of these features that we want to go into. And I'm actually going to call out to the folks here in the room. What are some of the other things that make up a good wiki that we need to put in here? The first one I'm going to put is fix routing so that article topic should be the URL requested, right? And that feels like an ASP.NET routing thing. What other things do I need to do to make this a good wiki, right? Security was kind of a thing, right? Folks need to log in. Logged in folks can edit and add content. So we'll just keep creating a couple issues here so we have a checklist that we can go into in the future as we continue to build out this wiki. What other things do I need to do? Scott Kate is suggesting search. That's a great feature. Need to add search. Now, Scott here in the chat room, I'm thinking full text search, right? Full text search of content. That'd be cool. And there's search engine features we can add into this using Azure, right? Azure has a full text search capability. Lots of great features suggested from the chat room. I want to ask folks here in the room, what other things should we add? Stop looking at the chat room. What do we need to add, right? What would make a cool wiki?
Add images.
Add images. There's a good one. Add images. Need to be able to upload images for articles. Cool, what else? Right, I mean, let's build out, here's what V1 is going to be. I want to take your ideas. Full text or Azure search as a service, Scott is suggesting. They're still going on about languages and Rust. Featured articles. What do you think? Featured articles? All right. I'm sorry? Authors and author profiles. So let me just save this. We'll figure out what featured articles are a little bit later. Authors and author profile pages. Authors need a way to save their profile. That'd be cool. All right. Row 3 is empty. No. Pay attention to us, audience. Listen, they're trying to pick on, the chat room is trying to, stop that. Favorites. What's favorites? What do you think favorites is? That sounds like an interesting idea. Undo changes. Well, history, it'd be nice to have a history track changes of articles. A history and list of changes to articles. And that feels like there's going to be a lot that we could do with that. Comments for articles, there's a nice idea. Okay. So I'm just going to throw these out here. And if you want to expand on these, if you want to get involved and follow along as we continue to build this, I'm going to continue this conversation and we'll continue to add on to this project here. As we do more of these live coding shows, and we'll figure out new things to add in, new features. And right, if you want to learn more, if you want to submit a pull request, suggest different things, we can certainly continue to work on this together and learn how to do different things. Full text search on Azure, like Scott was suggesting there, it's not something that I have experience with. Maybe we can bring on somebody to help us with that feature. Rating articles, that's a cool idea. That'd be neat. Article ratings. And I'll let someone else decide what that should be. Identity server for authentication. That's not a bad idea. And I think our friend Brock Allen was actually saying to me last night he'd be interested in helping out. Notifications to see if the articles you follow get an update. Chat and comment hub. Oh my gosh. Some interesting ideas here. Really cool stuff you guys are coming up with. All right, I've already got 10 issues in here. RSS feed. Let me create that one, and then I'm going to this is an open public repository. Go create issues here, and we'll talk about building these in the days and weeks ahead here. RSS feed of recently changed articles. All right, because I am right up against time. ADB2C. Okay, so Gabra666 in the chat room. That's a little bit of acronym overload. What do you mean by ADB2C? Let's see if we know what that is. Because I think I know what you're referring to, but I want to make sure that we get the acronym cleared up for folks. Any other questions here in the room? We covered a lot. We went through and saw a bunch of different things. We saw a lot of live share. Live shares, it's coming along. It's still in preview, and we had a questionable network connection here in the room, so that affected us a little bit. But I encourage you, if you want to follow along, if you want to see where we take this, if you just want to get the source code so you can play with it, it's here on my GitHub, github.com /Fritz core wiki. And you can grab it, download it, and do whatever you'd like. Azure Active Directory Business to Consumer. That's what I thought. So Azure Active Directory is a way for you to secure your users, their information, and use that high grade, that enterprise grade, secure information and user management out in Azure. Let Microsoft manage that for you, and you can hook it up to your applications. It is a paid service indeed, but it's something that I think some of our Azure cloud developer advocates might be interested in showing off on a future stream. So I think I'm going to end it there today. We've done a lot. We've got a basis. We've got something to start with that's simple, and I think we can evolve here easily. So I want to thank you folks here who joined me today here live at DevIntersection. This was an experiment. We wanted to see how this works out. What do you think? Should we try and do more of this in the future? Yeah? Okay. And then, of course, you can tune in and watch this online. I'm going to archive off the video from today's session. It'll be available for you on YouTube a little bit later today. All the folks in the chat room, I see some of our friends and pair programmers that join us every couple days here. Thank you for joining me here today. I really appreciate everybody tuning in and helping out. We'll see what we can do on Thursday when I come back, Thursday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern time. But check out the video. It'll be over there on YouTube later today. And I'll see you next time on Thursday. Catch you later, Internet.